Hey there. So I'm here with a couple of the participants that took the online HSP group. We have not had this discussion yet, so I have no idea what's come up. I've said, please be honest in your responses, so we'll see what happens. So I'm wondering if you can tell me, what is it that you were hoping to get from the course?
I think for me, I was hoping to get more knowledge of what an HSP is and how to deal with being one and such. And I definitely got that.
Okay, can you say a little bit more about what you got?
Sure. What for me, the most valuable thing that really sunk in, that it just every week we went, I just more and more uh, relaxed into my skin more. I really just have been accepting myself, how I show up. I didn't even realize that for the first 50 years of my life, I've spent trying not to be sensitive, trying to act what I thought was normal, and kind of being ashamed that I couldn't just show up in the way that my family of origin thought I should. And so it's been such a freeing experience to just go, oh, well, this is how I am, and this is totally valid and reasonable, reasonable way to be, and just kind of like getting to know myself for the first time. It's really kind of weird to have such a revelation. And in all honestly, I didn't really expect a lot from the course, and this was life changing for me.
Wow.
It's been really, really amazing.
Wow. I want to come back to you, but I want to give Shelley a chance to share if you'd like.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, the one or the meeting once a week has really been so much more than just a meeting once per week. I always feel like, even though we're not together, I feel that support and camaraderie there, even though we're not together. And so that's been huge being an HSP, because so often I feel alone in my journey. And um, it just helps to know that I'm not. And I think that's really key here. And I think the second part of that is self care is so important for my well being. And this was a big component of my own self care because of that, being connected throughout the week, even though we weren't talking every day. I knew you guys were there. I knew what we had discussed. I knew what I shared. And what I shared with you was so important. And um, again, a part of my process that I always felt supported, and knowing that um, I could do this and I didn't have to be alone. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And it gave me permission to do self care in a way I've never allowed myself. I always thought, well, I can't take that much time for myself. And it turns out that I genuinely need that to function. And I kind of knew that anyway, but to actually say that this is actually valid for me to need this, because in some ways, while yes, I may need more self care than, somebody who isn't an HSP, I can also, the reason why I need that is because I can give more in depth sensitivity to those around me. So
Mm-hmm.
that was really validating to have a real reason, that it isn't that I'm just, all the negative things like, oh, I'm being selfish or lazy or anything. It wasn't. I would get overwhelmed more easily, and uh, to just be able to figure out new ways to have self care, and to, for me, it was just so big to have the permission and the reason to be able to the defense to the, family in my head that was saying, you're not living right, for me to say, no, I actually am, to have that, reason that I
You
why it's okay.
you used the word permission. So where did that permission come from? Because it didn't come from me.
No, it came from learning about what an HSP is and what they need, and how, in some ways the gift is great, and in some ways you have to, the care and feeding of an HSP is a little bit different than those who are not. So
Mm-hmm.
Mission came from the knowledge of what an HSP is and what they need.
Mm-hmm.
What I specifically need. Yeah.
Did you want to say something, Shelley?
Um,
I don't want to put you on the spot.
no, there was one thing that you said, I believe in one of your podcasts, but I brought it into one of our meetings. And that was, and I think we talked about it our last meeting as well. But about HSPs, how when our tub gets drained, if our energy stores and everything that we're putting out there gets drained out of us, it takes us a lot longer to refill that tub. And that is really, like, that metaphor has been like so important to me to keep reminding myself of, because I think I tend to get a bit hard on myself if I don't bounce back, if I don't, you know keep going at the rate I'm going. And it's okay to, stop and take care of myself. And I think, Patricia, if I may, you really have a talent or a gift to say those little things that really resonate, and they stick. They really stick, and kind of carry me through. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I do have to give credit to the bathtub analogy. I heard Ariana Smith say that, so I don't want to steal anybody's great
Well,
material, but
well, thanks for sharing it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. It's funny that you remember it like that, because what I remember about the bathtub analogy is for the overwhelm, because for HSPs, the overwhelm, that we get overwhelmed more quickly. So our bathtub fills up more quickly with overwhelm and drains more slowly of that too. So I was like, yeah, that is so true for me. But that's because we are taking in so much more neurologically. So
right. And I think what happens is it's so easy for us to have a narrative about what's wrong with how we show up or what we need. Are you able to speak a little bit about why did that change for you? Because like we know that, but what was it about the group that helped you make that shift? Because I mean, how much of that was new information to you? I'm genuinely curious. So if you already knew it, please don't be making up stuff to make it sound good.
are you speaking to either of us
Either
specifically?
one of you, yeah.
What was the question again? I genuinely didn't know a lot about being an HSP before I
Okay.
joined the group. So a lot of it, there was so much education, and there was so much, the way when people would share, even if it wasn't me sharing, the way that you use the knowledge in response to our sharing really kind of retrained my brain to be more gentle with myself in a way that I'd never thought of. Because I had read up a little bit on HSP before I had joined the group, but really the jewel that I really got from taking the course versus reading the book was to be able to share my own personal stories, to have other people bring up things that I wasn't thinking about, and to have you use your knowledge uh, of how an HSP really works, with my stuff and their stuff, and so that I could get that new way of thinking into my brain in a way that I really just couldn't have from reading the book and just assimilating the material that way.
You just put to words something that I've not been able to put words to. So I'm inside, I'm having this huge happy dance. In this process of trying to explain to people who might be interested in taking the course, like what is it about it that's so special? What I heard you say is you guys, you people all show up with whatever's going on in your life. Each week we have a theme. So you share what's going on and what you're seeing. My job is to take the information about how we show up in the world as a highly sensitive person and to overlay that with what your experience is to provide education, and then to talk about how we can do it differently. And that's what I heard you say, and I don't think I've been able to conceptualize that. Am I just
Yeah,
making
and
stuff
it's
up, or?
well, for me it's I think of it more as you're mixing it in, you're folding it in with, like, overlaying it is kind of like what I do when I read the book.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, adding that whole, it's the course is what stirs it in and makes it homogenous, and so that I can actually make it into usable material because I've seen it apply. You're showing me how to apply that knowledge. It isn't just that I have the knowledge. You're actively showing me how to apply it to my stuff. And because other people are going through different things at different times, having other people there who are sharing their stuff, and you showing them how to apply that knowledge, really, that means I'll be able to have that and use that information in so many different ways.
So
Um,
it sounds like you were able to integrate it, that you come with
yes,
stuff, I give you information, education, how to reframe it. You integrate it so it becomes a part of you, as
right.
opposed to reading a book, we put it down and maybe we remember, but that's kind of rote memory as opposed to something that goes into
Right.
our cells. This is
Yes.
this is really helpful for me. So like, yay.
Well, good. Because
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
huge for me. I mean, I read a lot of stuff like this, and this has given me so many aha moments. Like, it's really has been life changing. I've been since I started, I've been on a diet that has been healthy for me. I had been searching for a long time to uh, to find what was wrong with me physically, like what I was having issues with. So while while we were in the course, I feel like I attracted the information that I really needed to me. And not only did I get the information with the class, um, I've been seamlessly on this diet, like through the learning about true self care. It has made it so easy to eat in a way that has made me so much healthier and happier and able to give myself. It's been kind of uh rolling, or steamrolling, collecting. What do I can't think of the word, the analogy, but it's been kind of building on itself. The more healthy I'm thinking, the more healthy I'm getting, the more healthy, and it's just keeps going and going and going. And so it's really, I'm such a different person now than when I started. So thank
Wow,
you
that's
so much.
great to hear. I mean,
Yeah,
what I'm hearing you say is that your awareness changed so that your desire for self-care increased, and this came from a place of self-love. Like, I'm having these health issues, I need to make some changes so that I can be healthy and live the life that I need. And because
right,
the sense of self-care was there, it felt like it's been really easy to implement.
right. It went from I should do this, and knowing that I'll feel better if I can do this, or to wow, this is really what I want to do. I really want to feel better. I really want to do, it just was so organic to this. I guess the um, self love portion became more real for me. So I was able to actually act on the things that I knew that would be good for me.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for jumping on today. This has really been great.